Morning, everybody. Glad to have you here. Hope you had a great weekend and big plans for this week. If you will, like, share, comment, and then you can join me in Genesis chapter 36, beginning in verse 31. And I'm not going to read this for a couple of reasons. One of them is we're going to cover 10 verses, verses 31 through 39. And second of all, we're going to look at the descendants of Esau, and it's a bunch of names that I won't pronounce correctly. So, like a lot of the names in Scripture, hard to say. But we see the one statement we need to see about this is the first verse when it says, "These are the kings who reigned in the land of Edom before any king reigned over the Israelites." And it goes on to list all the way down through all of these people. These are the descendants of Esau who became kings, who had worldly success and did well. They had property and power and possessions. They moved up. Unfortunately, we don't read that while they had a lot of money, they had a lot of stuff. It doesn't appear they had much spiritual stuff. This chart that we have here, we see that there's no connection that's being made here between the family of Esau and the kings. It's a list, but basically they are it's a list of a group of people that were the result of a bunch of intermarriage between Esau's people and Seir. And so we have this list of these folks. All total, there is, I believe, 12 that are mentioned here without going back and counting them right here. 12 different people. And again, these are people, this list, these people ruled way after the death of Esau. Probably, this list probably actually goes right up until the time of Moses when we look at the list. What I'd like for you to see is there's a book, to be honest, I own it, but I've never read it. It's The Road Less Traveled. We see here two roads, two ways life can turn out. Apparently, when we look at this, Esau's family is doing well. They have prospered. They have become a nation way before Israel. Again, look at the very first verse. These are the kings that reigned in the land of Edom before any king reigned over the Israelites. And so, again, they had set up a kingdom and their nation was growing, their power was growing, their influence was growing. They were becoming chiefs and kings even before Israel. And one commentary discusses this and points out something that is easy to overlook if you just read the genealogy. What happened here? Esau's family is moving and shaking. Boy, they're living in the big time. They are moving up. They're prospering and growing, but Jacob's family doesn't seem to be doing very much. Well, you have to remember, for the first basically 20 years, he'd been in exile, being forced to, exile of his own making. He'd been a servant in Laban's house. Now, he's had some prosperity. He's got two wives and two concubines, and they have now produced, at this time period, they would have produced 12 different sons, and maybe we only see one daughter mentioned. Perhaps there was more. He does have a lot of livestock. He's grown a pretty big farm. And he finally does come back to the promised land in that area. And so he was doing well as far as, I guess, finances. Again, he had a lot of possessions, a lot of again, a lot of livestock that he was growing. And most likely, when he moved back, he probably lost some, just lost them, literally lost them. And then there were probably some who died. Probably lost some people. Some of them probably died. Some of them became slaves. Those other kinds of things. While he was doing that, Esau's family is getting, they're, making friends and influencing people. They're becoming kings. They are basically taking control of the nation of Edom. They are becoming rich, not just in finance, but in power, and becoming, influential people in this land. We don't know what was going on in Jacob's mind when he saw all this, but my point is this. Both of them are growing, they're just growing differently. Esau's family is growing powerful, they're growing wealthy, they're getting rich in power and possessions. But we don't read anything about them spiritually. We don't read anything about them growing in their relationship with God. They've got a lot of honor, a lot of prestige, a lot of authority, a lot of power. But really, because of Esau's decisions many years ago, they have missed out on the covenant and the promises of God. Jacob, he's not been gaining some of that, but Jacob has been making progress in his walk with the Lord. Now, there's nothing wrong with Esau having power. There's nothing wrong with Esau having big herds, big family, his children, grandchildren being kings and chiefs. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Do not misunderstand me. But we would be better off if our children were paupers living under a bridge and know Jesus than to be the king of all of Edom and not be right with God. That's what we need to practice. That's what we need to preach. That's what we need to teach. That's how we need to raise up our children, our grandchildren. That what we do with God, and what we see here is an amazing transformation that God is doing in the life of Jacob. Esau, on the other hand, seems to be pretty much the same old guy, he and his family, that he's always been. Better to grow in the Lord than to see our bank account bust out the ceiling. You think about it. Have a great day. We'll see you here tomorrow morning.